Welcome, race fans, here tonight to LSR TV, your home for sim racing. And we are here, of course, at Rockingham, a awesome facility, Thunder Valley, one of my favorite, or Thunder Alley, Thunder Alley, whatever. One of my favorite tracks here. We're going to jump right into it. We got about 2.5 minutes left to go. We got coming on 2 minutes. Our chair here for tonight's race is the one and only Will Duvall, or BJ Duvall. Either way, I'm calling you Will tonight. Will, welcome to the booth once again.
Yes, sir. Love being here. It's great to be here, and great to see Rockingham. It's going to be my first look at it. I'm very excited for tonight.
Yeah, you know, this is one of those tracks I'm a little partial to, and it's only for the reason that you've got two distinct surfaces. The banking in the track itself is dark, and below the track, the pits and stuff is a different surface. It's a lighter color. I just think these cars really pop on this dark surface. Again, I'm just a little partial to it myself, but we'll be looking to see how that does affect the drivers. As we both know, going from asphalt to concrete coming into your pit can definitely pose a problem, and you can slide through your stall pretty easy. And I did find out a little while ago, Will, that they are only allowed 6 set of tires for this entire 150 lap race tonight.
Honestly, personally, I think 6 sets of tires are going to be plenty for them. But what you're talking about, going from the asphalt to the concrete, and from the concrete back to the asphalt, going in and out of your pit stall, that's going to create a lot of problems. You said one of the biggest reasons is surface temperature. One, you got the cars driving on the asphalt. 2, concrete and asphalt hold the temperature at massive different scales. And when your tires go from that hot surface to a cooler surface of the concrete, it's going to create some major issues for these guys.
Yeah, it definitely is going to cause issues. I'm sure we'll see somebody get caught speeding into pit road. They'll have to slide into their stall, probably miss their stall. These are all things that we'll be watching for down on pit road here tonight. Again, practice is just about over. They got 1 minute left before we go. And right now we have 20 drivers. Of course, Tyler Hilton not going to be racing here tonight. And of course, race control. Well, race control is race control. They don't race. So those two will not be racing. A 20-car field here. Not really a short track, but a shorter track compared to some of them we go to here for the NASCAR style circuit.
Yeah, absolutely, and quite a good-looking track too. These short tracks always put on some more exciting racing, and a lot of times I see personally on short tracks a lot more 2 and 3 wide racing. Just for the simple fact that a lot of drivers are going to run that outside line to try to maintain momentum, whereas on longer tracks you see them try to hug the inside to maintain the shortest line around the track.
Yeah, I think I want to go the shortest distance possible to get around this track, but that doesn't necessarily work at all tracks. So you look at tracks like Charlotte, the shortest way around is around the bottom. If you enter the corners too much, you can potentially, spin the car out going into the corner. So every track has its difficulties, it has its pros, it has its cons. What we have right now, of course, is qualifying going to be coming underway, and really the question is who's going to be one of the first drivers out, and it looks like it's going to be Del Osmond in the number 88 machine.
And Del Osmond with quick time in practice out here. Don't see his time that he ran in practice, however, but Del Osmond rolling out in the number 88 machine. Always a good looking machine to see that red, green, yellow car out there. See what he can put down the lap on here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And of course, for anyone that's just tuning in with us for the first time, I'm not sure if there's any out there or not, but of course we are live on LSR TV YouTube and LSR TV Facebook. And you're watching the AMA Next Gen Challenge series. Of course, this whole series is brought to you by Indiana and Ohio Roofing. So make sure you check them out. But a 22.66 for Del Osmond, but he's not going to keep it long, Will, as Brian Snare is going to run a 22.544, and I know Snare's got some friends in Penley out there watching tonight.
Yeah, Brian Snare very, very quick coming out there on his first lap, but it's not quite over yet. Dale Osborne just finishes his second lap and takes the lead away by almost a tenth of a second.
Yeah, not by much, but he does manage to snag it right there. You see 0.089 as we go to Brandon Medford. That is out on the track right now. He's in the number 83 machine and almost unsponsored. I believe that is the stock iRacing paint. And I want to give a big shout out to iRacing real quick. Their stock paint jobs that they used to have lacked a little luster, Will, for the Cup cars, but this new stock paint job that they're giving you actually looks, like something I would probably run. Just stock, it just looks that good.
Yeah, it does actually look really good. And I remember, like you were saying, they used to be plain. The one that I ran before, when I first ever stepped in foot in the Cup car, was just a plain white car with a plain white number with a black outline around it. Very, very boring, very plain. But that's not a bad looking car there.
No, it's definitely not, and he's currently at fifth fastest as Steve Baker's going to shut it down, and he is going to take the number 55 machine to fourth place, and that is it at the moment. We're going to jump over to some other drivers that are coming out. Travis Smith going to be coming out on to the track here at the moment in the number 95 machine. And, if I'm not mistaken, that design on that car, it looks oddly familiar. And I know you're from the dirt side, Will, so it looks oddly familiar to a Scott Bloomquist car.
It does. It looks almost identical to a car that he ran. I want to say it was about 2 years ago. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what track it was. But it looks like a paint he ran about 2 years ago. Beautiful looking paint job. Scott Bloomquist usually having that skull in the center of it. Very famous for that flying is what I've heard it called several times.
Yeah, he definitely is. Of course, even looks good here on this Cup car for Travis Smith. Of course, the TS in there for the Travis Smith name. He's going to pull the car back out as he did not complete a lap. So he was on his warm-up lap, so he'll try it one more time. Most notably here, only currently 5 drivers have taken time.
Only 5 drivers have taken time, and one of those drivers being Steve Baker. If I'm remembering correctly, I haven't seen the points, but I believe he's still our points leader, as we have a few more cars. Looks like they're getting ready to roll out right now.
They are indeed, and we're getting some last-minute paints in here, as apparently, for the non-iRacers out there, we use Trading Paints to run the paints, and apparently Trading Paints decided to shut down on us for the broadcast, so that is loading. So if you see any white cars, that indicates they have not gone out to the track yet. It will reload the paints. We'll see if some of these guys do have their official paints on. Of course, some of them already had it in the storage banks with us, so we'll keep an eye on that as we'll jump over to Troy Radford as he just plasters the outside wall.
Yeah, Troy Radford going for a ride just now. Looked like quite an interesting one as he took it back to the pits.
Yeah, he did take it back to the pits. And it's not going to matter. Time is up. We only had, keep this in mind, we only had 5 or 6 drivers technically take time out of the 20-car field here tonight. That, it's different. Usually you see a lot more take time, but Del Osmond does go ahead and set the fastest time, so we'll go through your starting grid here for tonight's race. This is, of course, the Next Gen Challenge Series presented by Indiana and Ohio Roofing, and your top 10 look like this. Del Osmond and Dustin King are going to be your top 2 on row 1. Row 2 is going to be Brian Snare and Steve Baker. Right behind them is going to be Travis Smith and Eric Blunt, and behind them is going to be Brandon Medford and Colin Allman. And Chris Canfield and Roy Hyde going to round out the top 10, Will.
And it's going to be Brian Littleton picking up the 11th spot. This outside is Troy Radford. Behind them is going to be Brian Miskell Jr. and Tyler Hilton on his outside. Then following them is going to be Cade Green and Damon Cox on this outside. Chris Mefford and Brian Britt. Behind them is going to be Doug Lasaki and Tom Quattlebaum. And then Ray Radford rounding out your 21-car field.
And of course, race control obviously not going to be racing here tonight. And quick apologies on my end, calling you Wesley there. I'm used to him being in the booth here on the Race X or now AMA series. We will do our best to make sure that doesn't happen again tonight, Will.
Yeah, be honest with those of you guys watching out there, he does that quite a lot. But to be fair, he is talking to both of us a lot. So
yes,
it's a fair point.
Will Wesley, we're just going to call you W1 and W2. Make it as easy as we possibly can. And of course, they're waiting on Tyler Hilton and Race Control. Those two are not going to be starting. So there you have it right there. As they will take off the line, we'll get your grid on the left-hand side of the screen. And, you know, we got to do it. We got to shout out to the fans for tuning in here. Let us know who you're tuning in to watch, or are you just here for some great racing because you know it's going to happen. And, of course, if you're here for a particular driver, who is it? Put it in chat. Where are you watching from and who are you cheering for in tonight's 150-lap race here at Thunder Alley or Rockingham? Going to be a great race regardless, as that sun drop, Indiana and Ohio roofing, number 88 of Dale Osmond, going to lead them to the green flag.
Yeah, I know who I'm rooting for here tonight, but I don't know if I'm allowed to sound biased on the broadcast. But everybody's got their favorites out there. Let us know who it is.
Oh, we're completely biased. I'm going with Dustin King because I like the look of his car. So, I am completely biased here. It's the number 1 and number 88 go very good. Both of them getting a good jump here on the start of this race. Again, side by side, but here comes that 55 of Steve Baker. Steve is holding nothing back here tonight as he's going to dive to the inside, but just doesn't have enough to get by Dustin King early in this race. King's going to take to the bottom, and we're going to single file out for the first 3, but not so much behind them.
Yeah, you got the racing going on behind them between the 43 and the it says 67 on the ticker. If I remember correctly, he used to run the 5 car, didn't he? Or 95 on the ticker.
I believe so. We'll check in with that and make sure. And actually, the 95 is just ahead of him. That is Travis Smith. So he very well could have. Again, we apologize. We redid those graphics, so he very well could have a different paint job and have a different custom number, because I believe that is a custom number on the side with that 67. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But Osmond will just ran a 22.89, fastest lap of the race so far, and we're only just a handful of laps in. The question is that will have to be answered later on is, at what point do we gonna see some major fall off on these tires?
Looking at this track, it looks pretty rough. Like I said, this is actually my first look at this track, but looking at how rough the track looks and looking at all the patch jobs around it, I'm going to say they're going to get about a good 5 or 10 laps before we start to see some change in lap pace, and about 15 to 20 laps before we start seeing them get loose or pushing through the corner, one of the two.
Yeah, and the 67 of Colin Allman just ran a 22.76, the fastest lap of the race, as he takes over second place, but not far behind. A 22.78 is Steve Baker, even though he just got passed there just recently. So we'll see. Those two may have a good little battle on them hands. Keep in mind, your top 3 right now, 22.8, 22.76, and 22.78 are the top times, the best laps for those top 3. You go down to 4th with Dustin Ping, who's got his hands full with Travis Smith. Then you get into 22.98 and 22.96s. So there's about a 2/10 separating 3rd from 4th and 5th.
There's a big gap and a big difference in speed right there. And one thing you got to keep in mind is these guys that are further back might be saving their tires. You know, Dustin Ping, he qualified 2nd quick. He might be holding back and trying to save his tires for the longer run.
Yeah, if he wants to be number 1, you've got to conserve tires here. We know they're going to wear down. Again, their best lap, it was a 22.80 for Dale Osborne, who's your race leader right now, who's got a lot of company coming here quickly. But his last lap, as he just crosses the line there, going to be a 23.26. So we are roughly almost about a half a second to a second slower already, Will, and we are just 9 laps into this race. So we're going to see some serious fall off. Keep in mind, they only have 6 sets of tires to go from, so it's going to make it very, very tricky if we get a long green flag run. If you have that much fall off and you only have 6 sets of tires to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And one driver I'm thinking about right now, thinking about that fall off, is the number 67 of Colin Allman. He is up 6 spots to the good already this early in the race and looking to try to make a move on Dale Osborne. He is all over his back bumper right now. How much has he scrubbed off already, passing all those cars?
Yeah, and that's what you don't want to do is, scrub these tires. You need every bit of grip you can, as Colin Allman really running down the 88 of Osborne here at the moment. And I always want to call him Osborne for some reason. I know an Osborne, but that race is in real life. But Osborne out front, look at this. This is the view. I absolutely love it as he reels him in here in that Z1 Chevrolet. And he's going to catch him. See, he'll get it. He loses a little bit of ground, but right here he really catches it up, and he's going to take it to the inside. And we may have a new leader. He's technically scored as the leader now, but unfortunately can't quite hold it, I don't think, as they go side by side, and that battle's not anywhere near over.
Absolutely not. Colin Allman is now just manages to take the lead away from him and starting to pull away from him. But what we saw there when he backed off and Osborne got pulled away a little bit on entry, you saw Allman catch right back up behind them as they came through the turn on exit. Now, when drivers are able to back off real good in the turns, or on entry of the turn, they're able to get a massive run coming out if they do it just right. And you saw it done perfectly right there from Allman.
Yeah, and while those two kind of sorted out, we go back. Dustin Ping going to get by Brian Snare to take that position again. And Dustin Ping now starting to go back in the other direction. He did fall back early in this race. Again, I think he might have been conserving a little bit. I don't know how to explain this. The only way I know how to explain what Dustin Ping could be doing out here is it goes back to what you would do with a bush or a plant. He prunes back, or in this case, he goes back a little bit, doesn't push it as hard in order to go further and more up at the front. Analogies are probably not my best thing, but he fell back and just let the car do what it wanted to do. Now he's got some decently good tires compared to the people around him that pushed it, and now he can do what he wants the car to do instead of vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want a good analogy for that, I would use tortoise in the hare. You see the tortoise taking it nice and easy, starting off and going the whole time nice and easy, and ends up winning the race, whereas the hare pushes early and falls off real quick and has to stop taking a nap, but the tortoise ends up winning it. And it's kind of what you see going on right there for Dustin Ping, I think. He held back and took it slow for the first few laps.
Yeah, and now we say that right as I say he's going forward, he's kind of got caught up. He's behind Travis Smith here in that 95 machine, and now he's going to lose 1, 2, 3 spots, and now he's going to have contact with Travis Smith as those two go to the bottom side. So far, no caution coming out for that. That is unfortunate for those two, as it looked like maybe Travis Smith didn't realize that Ping was going to be going to the bottom side.
Yeah, it was definitely a very hard hit, especially for Ping, the way he came down and caught that inside wall. Don't look like there's too much damage on the 95 of Travis Smith, but Dustin Ping's car took a hard hit for sure.
Yeah, and we are not looking like we're going to get a caution for that. So this will be a little further back from where it was, as we'll take a quick look here. Let's see, right in here should be roughly where it was. This is where it all started going bad, right here, and there it is. So we're going to take one more look at that real quick and see exactly what happened. There we go. And again, this is where it all went bad. And you see, everybody's getting by. Here comes Ping.
Hey, it looks like the 95 just got the wall a little bit there and bounced off down across the nose of Dustin Ping.
Yeah, it definitely does. Something, regardless, did not go right for him. So he just comes straight up off the wall, hits the one of Ping. And unfortunately, that's going to really hamper both of those nights. They're both in the pits, as well as Roy Hyde. And I say Travis Smith is in the pits. He is not. He didn't get a whole lot of damage from that. He did come down the pits, I do believe, but he is still out on track, where Dustin Ping, unfortunately, is not. And I'm not sure if we have Dustin Ping to take a chat with him during his pits up there. He is down there, so Will, you want to chop down to their radio communication and see if we can get a word with him real quick and pull him up here?
I sure will. Be right back.
While he does that, of course, Colin Allman still out front, leading this race. Dale Osmond trying to run him down, but just hasn't quite been able to get there. He had a good run, but he's since fallen back one spot. Colin Allman up 7 since the start of this race. Your biggest mover at the moment is going to be your race leader, also Troy Radford, going to be in the 5th place, 7 spots to the good, and I believe Will has caught up with Dustin Ping.
Yes, sir, I have. Dustin Ping looked like you had fell back a little bit there and looked like you were kind of conserving your tires. You started getting a strong run going back forward and then just got caught up there with the 95. What exactly happened there from your point of view?
It looked like Travis hit the wall and came down and just collected me. There's not much I can do there.
Oh, good.
I was going to say, it sucks to hear that, and think you're going to make it back out on track here tonight?
I'm going to try.
Well, hopefully you do, Dustin. You know, I feel bad. I picked you as my win, so maybe I give you a little bit of a curse there as well, the commentator curse. But you got number 1 on the car. Hopefully you'll get it back to the front. How much damage does the car have? And I can't remember. Do y'all have a fast repair here?
We do not, and it's pretty much toast.
Well, if we don't see you back out on the track, we'll definitely be looking for you next week. Any quick shout-outs you want to give for sponsors on the side of the car that make it happen here for you?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the ACTPA and Conrad Group and Ohio State, Ohio Roofing.
All right, we'll get you back to your radio communications. As, again, that was Dustin Ping, a driver of the number 1 machine. Not going to have the finish he's going to want here tonight, I'm sure. But we'll keep an eye to see if he makes it back out onto the racing surface. And Will, just a little disappointing for him here tonight. And this field has really started to spread out.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of hopes for him, but everybody's spreading out now. One of the closest battles I see is between the number 94 of Troy Radford and the 80 of Brian Littleton. Now, I won't be honest with you, Brian Littleton was actually my pick. I know he started deep in the field, but I love that Michelob Ultra car. It's a beautiful car and one of my favorite sponsors personally, so I'm always pulling for him. It's good to see him moving forward. 6 spots to the good right now, so he just makes a move around the 94 of Troy Radford and takes that position away.
Yeah, he's going to take the position away. That is 5th that he is battling. He's 6 spots to the good, so he is moving forward. And, of course, Troy Radford, even with that position lost, he's still 6 spots to the good. And I said earlier that Allman was the biggest mover of the race. That is incorrect, or at least it's changed since then. It's actually Tom Quattlebaum Jr. and the 08 machine. He's mired well back in the field, actually about midfield in 11th place, but he's 9 spots to the good right now. As there you see on the roof of that car, he's running down Eric Blunt, trying to catch that number 6 Ford.
Yeah, that Line Creek Brewing Company's number 08 is working his way through the field as he's up 9, as you mentioned earlier, and looking to catch up to the only Ford in the field here tonight of Eric Blunt.
Yeah, it's very rare. Like you said, only one Ford. And if you go back to Ray Radford, the only Toyota in this race, too. So this is a formal event here, Will. And by formal, I mean it is filled with bow ties.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very... If Chevy's emblem had a black bow tie, I would definitely say it's a black tie event out here tonight. Completely an unbalanced field towards Fords and Toyotas here tonight.
Yeah, and I think actually, if you look, these cars do have there you see it, the black bow tie. It's got a silver outline around it, but it's still black, so we can call this a black tie affair.
Yeah, we sure could, actually. Looks like all of them are black.
There you go. It's a black tie affair with a few stragglers in there, one Ford and one Toyota. As we'll see when these guys are deciding to come down pit road. Still, the biggest battle on the track is going to be Cade Green, Eric Blunt, and Tom Quattlebaum, as those three drivers separated by about 2/10. Other than that, Will, there's just not a lot going on the track right now. They really have spread out, and that incident on the track that almost should have brought out a caution, that is really what these guys needed to kind of group this field back up.
Yeah, a lot of them out there looking for that yellow flag. Is they're actually 2 full seconds, give or take, half a tenth here or there, from the lap times they were running out there on fresh tires. And it's good we actually see just now Dustin Ping made it back out on track and is right now beside the 6 car of Eric Blunt.
Yeah, he's back out on the track, so we'll keep an eye on him as, well, there he is right there, like you said, next to Eric Blunt. And keep in mind, he is not on the lead lap. He is 15 laps down. And the way this race is going, unfortunately, he is pretty much stuck in a 19th position. The only way he's going to get some laps back here tonight is with the big wreck or, little wrecks that take some drivers out of this race, but it's going to have to be early in this race because 15 laps, and the way we've been going here tonight so far, 39 laps, caution-free, that is going to make it very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, it is going to be extremely difficult as we're looking now at Eric Blunt actually falling back further as the 08 of Tom Quattlebaum and the 19 of Cade Green both get by the 6 car of Eric Blunt.
Yeah, they do. And speaking of pit road, he has not been involved in an incident. He's going to come down pit road. That is Ray Radford. He's coming down pit road, number 47 machine. As you see right there, the right sides are going to go up, and I would imagine the left side's going to go up as well. And there they do. Left sides go up. So tires and fuel here on lap 40 for Ray Radford. And he's not the only one. Chris Medford going to bring his number 84 machine down at pit road as well. And this very well could be our first round of pit stops here. If you do the math, that's 40, 80, and after that my math's bad.
Well, we got 40, 80, 120, so I'm looking to see at least 3 more pit stops out of here tonight, unless these drivers decide to take a gamble. And one thing you're probably not going to see is anybody taking 2 tires this early in the show. It's too early to take a gamble like that. Just get your 4 rubbers. As you see both right and left side of that number 84 machine taking tires. you won't see anybody taking a gamble and taking 2 tires this early. Get your 4 rubbers, get out there and try and get your track positions back when everybody else starts coming in for pit stops.
Yeah, and we're fixing to jump to a battle, but it looks like Chris Medford going to try to repair some damage as well, as he's been in there about 40 seconds. But here's the battle we were talking about. There's this battle, and then there's this battle as well. Meanwhile, Brian Britt going to bring it down pit road in that 05 machine. Excuse me. So we got more drivers coming in. They're really kind of spacing it out here. Makes me wonder if they can go about 50 laps at least on fuel. Are we going to see some of these guys short pitting it and then others coming in maybe around lap 50, then lap 100, and then just try to do this on a 2-stop race?
That's probably a gamble that I would try to take if I had enough fuel to be able to run 50 laps. Chances are the least amount of stops you can make, the better, as everybody else is going to be making more stops and taking up more time from the race. So if you can manage to make it longer on your fuel and last longer on your tires, you're probably going to be better off in the long run. So if they can make longer runs and be able to make it to lap 50 and just do it on 2 stops, I'd say they're probably going to be good.
Yeah, that would be my strategy, is to take it on 2 stops and try to make it happen. Again, it's going to be a tough one for sure. We know tire fall off is drastic here, as you already talked about it. They are running 22.76s was the fastest lap for your race leader, Colin Allman, and his last lap, Will, 25.55. He is well off the pace.
He absolutely is. The number 05 came back on track right there in front of him and just took off from him once he got back to speed. Just a massive difference in lap times right now. But he's, as we're running lap 48, it does look to be as though he's going to try to push it as long as possible and make as few stops as he possibly can. I believe that's a wise move, personally.
Yeah, and we'll see here. Again, we'll have to communicate with the driver to see what their fuel window is. We did not get that prior to coming to the race. But if they can go more than 50, obviously they can go 50 laps. We're on lap 49 right now, so clearly we can go at least 50 laps. Could they go 75 laps? Could you make this on a 1-stop race? Would you even want to make it on a 1-stop race if you could make it on fuel? Those tires have got to be worn out by then. You're under risk of spinning out and most likely, and probably happening, getting caught and passed.
Well, not only that, but if your car would not normally make it at race speed to 75 laps, but you wanted to make 75 laps, you would have to regulate your throttle to try to save fuel, and at that point in time, you're just sacrificing way too much time. And I think that crosses the line of trying to make as few pit stops as possible.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Again, right now, your top 13 drivers have not come down. Only 8 drivers on the lead lap right now as of this point in the race. So that is something we will definitely have to keep an eye on. These guys 1 lap down. If a caution comes out, Lucky Dog and or the wave round, they can be back on it very quickly. Again, that's going to be roughly 4 drivers. That's going to be Quattlebaum, Green, Blunt, and Cox that could get their lap back. Wasaki 2 laps down. Smith 3 laps down. Some of these guys are really struggling here tonight. 4, 5, 6, 7 laps down, 9 laps down, 12 laps down.
That's right. It's Troy Radford. The first car I've seen 1 lap down going down pit road, and Eric Blunt looks to be joining him. The 4 cars that are only 1 lap down, 5 cars that are only 1 lap down, did not go a lap down via pit stops. They went a lap down under green flag by Colin Allman. Even though he is 3 seconds almost slower than his fastest lap, he is still putting drivers a lap down and still rolling around the track faster than most of the cars out here.
Yeah, and now we're having some of those lead lap cars come down pit road. Steve Baker, Brandon Medford coming down. Del Osmond coming down pit road now as well. So your lead lap cars are starting to trickle into the pits here, roughly around lap 54, 55. As there's your leader, Colin Allman, bringing it in now.
Yeah, Colin Allman finally coming down pit road on lap number 54. If he's able to run it out another 54 to 55 laps again, that'll put him at lap 110, and he'll have probably fresher tires than most of the other drivers out here on the track to the finish. That'll probably help him out quite a lot, I believe.
Yeah, I definitely think it will. Again, tires are king here at the track. It's just so much faster. Again, we were talking roughly 4 seconds slower on older tires just 20 laps into a race. And now Tom Quattlebaum is going to take over the lead in the 08 machine. He has not come down and pitted yet, though, so he has to come down sooner or later, and when he does, that's going to cycle it back to Colin Allman, your race leader, will be your race leader. He's currently in the second position, but Steve Baker in that 55 machine, he is cutting through this field with those French tires like a super sharp knife in butter.
Yeah, moving absolutely insanely fast right now. The only driver not a lap down that is not the leader is Colin Allman. He's the only driver that did not lose a lap in the pits, it looks like. And Steve Baker right there in third is already a lap down. So Steve Baker most likely will not be getting his lap back, which will put 2 drivers on the lead lap unless Tom Quattlebaum goes a lap down right here when he finally makes his pit stop.
Yeah, it's going to make it very interesting. At this point, when Quattlebaum Jr. comes in, and actually Steve Baker just got his lap back as he got by Quattlebaum. So he does get back on there, but still only 1 or 2 drivers on the lead lap. These guys are going to be screaming, I think I see water bottle or a banana peel or Sasquatch or something. They are screaming over these radios, I can promise you that. We need a caution. Somebody find debris somewhere. Throw out a water bottle, something. Get us a caution. They want to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking right now to see if we have, see if I can find out whether or not we have wave rounds and Lucky Dogs here. I know we have Lucky Dogs. I don't know if they're going to wave around all the cars that are 1 lap down or not. That's definitely going to make this race really interesting. There's only 3 cars on the lead lap right now. It's Tom Quattlebaum Jr., Colin Allman, and Steve Baker. And Quattlebaum, the only car to not take a pit stop still as we go around lap 60.
Yeah, we got actually a few more now. As you see there, Medford, Littleton, and Radford get on the lead lap. So these guys are starting to get around Quattlebaum. So at this point, it makes me wonder, Will, if Quattlebaum hasn't come down, which he has not pitted yet, in the 08, and there you see the 67 of Allman passes him for the lead. He's lost the lead. At this point, why continue to stay out? He's got to have a strategy as to the reason he is staying out on this track so long past everyone else who, again, came down on lap 52 and now 54 for Allman, and now we are on lap 62. So he has been out there 10 plus laps longer than everybody else on their pit stops.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder if he's going to try and attempt that 1 lap strategy or 1 pit stop strategy that we talked about. And I'm kind of pulling for him if he does decide to do that. I'm kind of pulling for him to see if he can prove us wrong on 1 pit stop being, too few of pit stops in order to make it through this race and have a good fighting shot at winning this race.
He definitely, I think maybe he is going for it, and he's going to go ahead and bring it down here on lap 64. So it doesn't look like even if he could make it, he's opting not to. So he'll come down, and of course that'll give the lead. Well, we already had the lead to Colin Allman. Bad news for somebody like Miskell. Blunt, Green, Snare, Cox, these guys that were a lap down, and because he didn't come into the pits yet, because Allman already passed him, they're not going to get that lap back.
Yeah, absolutely. That puts a bigger gap through the rest of the field for Allman. As we already saw, Allman lap most of those drivers under green flag without the pit stop. So Allman definitely showing he's the class of the field out here tonight. And it's almost a game of how many drivers can he lap before this race is over at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be just that game. And right here, you see him on the back bumper of the 80 of Brian Littleton. So Littleton actually in fourth. About to go a lap down himself. And there you see him. He's going to squeeze by and says, here I come. Thanks. There you go. That'll put Littleton a lap down. We are still green. Now it really is only 3 cars on the lead lap. That is Dale Osmond, Steve Baker, and Colin Allman are the only 3 drivers at this point in the race that are on the lead lap. And I've said it once and I'll say it again, Will. How bad do you think these drivers like Littleton, Radford, Medford, Miskell, Blunt, and even Green and Quattlebaum are screaming, we want a caution. Where's it at?
And they've got to be calling for something right now. Somebody's got to be looking, like you said earlier, looking to throw a water bottle out the window. They've got to be searching around right now, trying to figure out if there's any way that they can get that water bottle through the screen of their computer and out the window. As everybody else going a lap down faster and faster. As Osborne, actually the only driver right now that is gaining time on Allman. So it's definitely going to be an interesting finish here.
Yeah, it'll be one for the books. Could we go caution-free here tonight? Obviously, we know for a fact that one incident almost brought out a caution, but it didn't, as they were below the racing surface. And, you know, I talked about it a little bit in the pre-show. This track has a very defined racing surface. You know, it's not one of those tracks where it's all the same pavement, or all the same type of surface. It looks the same other than a little bit of rubber laid down. Anything below that or above that yellow line is dark black, and it's the racing surface. Anything below that, and you're probably not going to get a caution, and that's what happened earlier. So these guys definitely that were involved in that. I believe it was Smith and Ping that were involved in that. Those two are really having to fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two got their work cut out for them. Smith actually looks like he might have called it a day, as he's been in the pits for a very long time now, 23 laps down. Ping has actually out on track, the last car on track right now with 15 laps down in 15th place. I don't personally foresee anybody honestly getting the last back without a caution here tonight. So it's, for those guys there, I hate to say it, but I think it might be the nail in the coffin unless more drivers happen to pull off the remainder of the race.
Yeah, someone like Ping, Ping, Wasaki, Radford, even Cox and Snare, and Quattlebaum and Green. If you're more than 1 lap down, your night really is just, it's not going good for you. If you're someone like Blunt, Miskell, Medford, Radford, or Littleton, I'm not going to say you're out of this race yet. I won't say I think you're mathematically eliminated, because all it would take is the leader, getting involved with the second place or third place, something happening on the track, or, just a caution. So one caution in this entire race, as we're at the halfway point right now, and they could be back in this race. But mathematically, I think if you're about 12th place on, you're probably, let's say 13th place on, your night's probably done as far as getting the win.
Yeah, absolutely. I have seen cases before, like for myself 2 weeks ago at, I want to say it was Las Vegas. I came back from 4 laps down and managed to finish in 8th place. It is a very rare occasion, but quite literally you want to be the only car with any laps behind the leader in order to get a situation like that. You want several cautions, but this race over halfway now, as we're at lap 77 of 150, and it is not looking good for anybody out here, as our leaders looking to put Justin Ping another lap down, puts Justin Ping 16 laps down in 15th position. And one thing I'm looking at, if these laps are running 23, 24 seconds a lap, as they were earlier, our leader is only about 2 seconds behind third place once again.
It definitely is. And, while we have a big gap in this field, not a lot going on, we are going to take a quick break here from the broadcast to thank some of the sponsors. We will be right back here in just a moment. And, of course, if a caution comes out, we'll break in immediately and get back to the action. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom t-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized, we'll do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. You can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing. And if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink color. Everything is hand drawn. Everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. It's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum, requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and a lot going on here while we were in the commercial break. And, well, there it is right there. Those are first, second, and third, but it's about to be lapped cars as we're going to the roll bar. Will, you pointed this out. Look at this battle.
Yeah, you got an awesome battle ensuing for second place between Osmond and Baker. But here's the kicker about it. That leader is right behind them, about to pass him. As you see him going to the inside of the 55 right there, the 55 just gives up the space and lets him go. That is lapped up to third place under green flag. That's pretty much the nail in the coffin for these drivers, unless something happens to our leader taking him out of the race. But with everybody going a lap down as he quickly catches up to the 88, this is not looking good for anybody on the track except for Ullman.
No, it is definitely not. And, the one thing that I wonder here as we come up to complete lap number 86 was Steve Baker in that 55 machine, was he slowing down Del Osmond to where he couldn't get away from the 67? Does he have the speed to stay in front? It doesn't look like it, but we'll have to wait and see, because that could have been an issue, because you said earlier Osmond was actually gaining time on Almond, so we'll see how quickly he goes a lap down, if he does, but it is not looking good for that 88 Sun Drop machine.
It really is not. I can't help but wonder if when he was gaining time on Almond, if he wasn't pushing the car a little bit too hard to try to catch up, as Almond looks to his inside now to try to put him a lap down, backing off going into turn number one.
Yeah, he's being very, very meticulous about getting around that 88 machine. He doesn't want to cause any issues, but he does get around him right there. And with that has put Colin Allman, he has lapped everybody in this field, and a majority of that under green flag conditions. And I say green flag condition, we haven't had a caution at all, but not during pit stops. Second, third, fourth, fifth, those were all done actually under racing conditions where nobody was in the pits.
Yeah, absolutely showcasing, and I shudder to say it, but showcasing pro level driving out here. He just maneuvered around these cars like they were sitting still in the first few laps of the race and put himself in second very, very quickly. And it didn't take him long, but he got right around Osborne and is now just running away with this race. It is all men out here tonight.
Yeah, it's what this race is. It really is all Allman, and it's in his name. He's taking it all here tonight, and he is not looking back at the moment. Again, we can't declare him the winner, even though it looks like he's in his own zip code right now. Checked out from this field, put the keys on the counter, and said, "See you later. I'm not even going to wait for breakfast in the morning." He is gone, but anything can happen here. He's out there running on these tires. He's last pitted on lap 54. We're out 92. We're coming up on 50 laps to go. He will have to come down pit road again. And, he could make a mistake on pit road. He could spin out. Anything could happen. Let's hope it don't. But he's about to go by ping again to put him 17 laps down.
Yeah, man, I don't remember ever seeing him out here since I've been a part of broadcasting for LSR TV, the AMA races. I don't ever remember seeing Colin Allman out here, but Colin Allman shows up. If I'm not mistaken, this is his first race with him, and he is showing these drivers how it's done.
Yeah, he shows up and he just immediately says, "I'm going to pull out a can of whoop you know what." And that's exactly what he is doing here tonight. We do have a little bit of a battle starting to build here between Littleton and Osborne. That is for second position, as Littleton got by Steve Baker in that 55 machine. So unfortunate there, but there you see it. Littleton going to get by Osborne, and it makes you wonder. And I don't even think it's much of a pondering thing to talk about, is Osborne and Baker battled so hard for so long, they really wore out those tires, Will, and that allowed Littleton to just check out from him.
Yeah, I must agree with you there, as Littleton is now just running away. Didn't look like it took him any effort at all to get by the 88 car. And as far as the actual race itself goes, I think you might as well say Brian Littleton's going to win this, as Allman is pretty much in a race completely of his own. But with Littleton up to second place now. And at the moment, looks like he's got that spot pretty secured down.
And we apologize for that. So apparently Windows decided it wanted to do something of its own. Gotta love Windows, right? Again, quickly apologize for that. But yeah, Brian Littleton, he is just doing a fantastic job doing what he can for Colin Allman being as far out as he is. Again, no other cars on the lead lap, no foreseeable cautions coming out anytime soon. What do you do out here if you're someone like Littleton? Do you maybe try to short pit to do something just to gain any kind of time?
At this point now, we know the cars will go over 50 laps, as we saw Tom Quattlebaum do it. I would almost say I try to take a pit around lap number 100, lap 101, and try to push to the end of the race from there. But the question is, do you take it easy if you were to do that, or do you push it to start with and try to get your ground back?
Yeah, we do know lap 62 is when Quattlebaum came down, technically lap 63. He completed 62 laps worth of racing on one tank of fuel. So we know they can do it right now. They are coming up on 50 laps to go until it comes to the line. And this next time by will be 50 to go here at Rockingham, The Rock, Thunder Alley, whatever you want to refer to it as, Will. He is coming up to take 50 laps to go, right about there. There we go. That was a little off. But either way, it is now 50 laps to go. We know people can make it on fuel. So, yeah, the question is, when are these guys going to come down for their second stop?
Yeah, I really don't know. We saw the first drivers coming down right in lap 42, 43, so I expect to see them around 85 making their first round of pit stops. Actually, it looks like I think Ray Radford actually took it to the pits for the night, as I just realized it says he's 14 laps down, but it's got to be got to be coming up soon as we're past that 80 lap mark for a lot of these drivers for where they pitted the first time. So it should be very, very soon they'll be coming down the pits. Can't help but wonder what our leader's going to do, as he's just kind of out here on the Sunday drive at this point in time.
Yeah, he is, and this is the battle to watch right here, and that is between Troy Radford and Brian Miskell Jr., and I want to point out, Steve Baker, Brandon Medford, and Eric Blunt are on pit road on lap 103, so your guess was roughly there, as these guys going to go ahead and bring it down. It looks like a couple others going to bring it down as well. Brian Littleton going to bring it down. Osbon going to bring it down. Everybody but your leader in the top 10 is down pit road right now.
Yeah, they're going to come down pit road, get their fresh tires, fuel up. Probably the last pit stop we're going to see for the race. I don't foresee a caution coming anytime soon, but these drivers coming down pit road, getting their fresh tires, getting everything going, and hoping and praying that they can get out there and get at least a lap back from Colin Allman, as every driver on the track is at least 2 laps down now.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I don't know which is more interesting at this point here. The fact that every driver's 2 laps down, or what the pit crew is wearing on Dale Osmond's car.
Well, I shudder to say it, but it looks like they're wearing heart-dotted boxers.
I believe that is correct. So, heart-shaped boxers. There you go. For the pit crew of Dale Osmond. It's not the first time I've seen this, but it's still hilarious every time you do see it.
Yeah, I remember one time I was watching a sprint car race, and we saw a car go flipping, and then they went to another camera angle where when the car was flipping, we seen the driver, and all he was wearing was heart polka-dotted boxers on the driver of the sprint car. It was one of the funniest things I had seen in a long time.
And that is the beauty of iRacing, is that you can pretty much do what you want to your heart's content, as we're watching this little bit of a battle going on right here. And, we'll bring that up real quick here for anyone that's out there that's not on iRacing. If you're looking to get into it, well, there's how you do it right there. For more information on how to start your iRacing career, you can log on to iRacing.com. I believe it's, $13 a month or $100 to $110 a year. Of course, you got to buy the cars and tracks. It's not the cheapest simulation out there. However, it is the best out there. In comparison, if you're just looking for something cheap and not very good, I recommend Forza. If you're looking for a simulator that, everybody on the sim is a actual person racing with the wheel, pedals, or in my case, a mouse, definitely check out iRacing.com. Will, anything else you want to add on that?
And one thing you were mentioning, it is the best simulator out there, not the cheapest, but one thing I can say about it, it is thousands upon thousands of dollars cheaper than what you're ever going to get in real life racing. And I have seen iRacing take you to real world racing, as our leader finally coming down pit road, Colin Allman.
And just not a good angle there. He is right in the bend of pit road, so we can't get a good shot there, but we know he's taking 4 tires and fuel, and away he goes. And that's going to put 8 drivers back 1 lap down. And there's a couple of them. As he comes out, you see right there, Baker back on the lead lap. Littleton almost on the lead lap. Osbon as well. So we may see some guys back on the lead lap. The question is, with 40 to go this time by, how quickly is Allman going to be able to get Baker, Littleton, and Osbon back a lap down?
Well, it generally seems to take him about 20 laps in order to catch back up to the drivers on the lead lap. So I'm going to say it's going to be right around lap 30, lap 40 before he catches back up to them. But I'm only seeing him 19 seconds. Only seeing those drivers 19 seconds behind him, which means he's only about 3 seconds behind them.
Yeah, so There definitely is a lot changed since he came in. We'll see if those guys can make anything of it, as this battle's still eating up, as Brian Littleton and Dale Osborne, those two really have put on a nice little show here in the last couple of laps, as Littleton's still leading him, Baker just ahead of them, and Medford just behind him. That is Brandon Medford behind them. But again, one of the only battles going on this track right now.
And it's honestly not much of a battle, so it looks like they just kind of settled down and single filed out. Osborne falling in behind Littleton, just kind of trying to work their way through and try to keep back on a lead lap, I'd say.
Yeah, that is exactly what you do. You know, at this point, it's not a battle, to win. It's a battle to survive. And when I say survive, I'm not talking about your car's beaten and banged up, and you're just trying to survive the race. It's a battle to try to survive not going a lap down, and that's exactly what these guys are doing right now. And I saw some smoke there, Will, but I didn't see a car off track. I believe that may have just been a little bit of a connection issue, and you'll see that from time to time when those cars, when they lose connection and they come back, it's like a dragster. Like there you see the smoke, and that may be somebody in the pits. When those tires hit the ground, they're still spinning, and then you see smoke come from the back of the car.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of net code. A lot of people would think when they see those tires spinning, they're losing some of their traction off their tires, but it's really not. It's just iRacing trying to catch back up to what is actually going on your end.
And there is the reason for the smoke. Again, there is no indicator of this car wrecking, and he's going to put it in the pits there. He is still moving. This is fresh. But the 00 of Roy Hyde, apparently, and it looks like it's over as quickly as it started, out there barbecuing. Well, I didn't get the invite for the barbecue. Did you?
I did not. That's not very fair. We're going to have to get a hold of him and find out where our invite was.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk with Roy Hyde and ask him, how come we didn't get the invite to the barbecue? He is he's been on pit road for quite some time now. And I believe he is down there. If you want to go see if we can get him over on the radio communication and take a chat with him and figure out what he's barbecuing down there in pit road.
We'll absolutely catch up with him.
And meanwhile, Will is going to go see if we can get up the driver 00 Roy Hyde on the radio, as it looks like he is done for the night. As your leader still out there just dominating right now in that 67 machine. He's already put Littleton and Osborne a lap down, and looks like unfortunately we don't have the 00 here, Will.
No, he didn't seem to be in the best of moods, and didn't want to bother with him too terribly much and stir the pot there. So we'll let him sit there and cool down, let his motor cool down. Keep on going with this race, as we see only one car left on the lead lap, and the leader's only about a second behind him.
Yeah, he's already got a couple down. To talk a little bit about that here, he's upset. He doesn't want to talk to us right now. We want to talk to him. He just don't want to talk to us, and that's perfectly understandable. You see it even in in IRL racing. If you don't get upset when stuff happens to you, and you don't get frustrated and flustered and stuff like that, you probably are in the wrong sport, because you've got to have passion about it, whether it's sim or real racing. And it's not going the way you were. If you were just like, oh well, whatever, you're probably in the wrong sport, because even esports here with the sim racing, there's a lot of passion that goes on setting these cars up and racing them week in and week out.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of these drivers are here because they, real racing is expensive. And this is a much cheaper alternative, as we were talking about earlier. This is a much cheaper alternative that has turned into real jobs for people and has put people in real life seats. We know of Alex Bowman, if I'm not mistaken, he was one of them. And one of the most famous ones right now that came from iRacing is William Byron, He's driving a NASCAR Cup Series car right now, and he was picked up from iRacing. So a lot of these drivers are looking at that, and those guys are role models for them. They're taking this extremely seriously, and they're learning everything they possibly can to make their cars as fast as they can and prove that they're that good to get a real life seat. So
and you definitely can't leave out Ty Majeski in there as well.
And that's absolutely correct. And I've actually gotten to meet Ty Majeski right here on iRacing before, and it's amazing to hear the story of where he actually came from.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. We talk about it here. So we got about 25 laps to go. There are a lot of big names on here. North Wilkesboro. We just got that new track here not too long ago with the 87 Cup cars. Of course, we raced those on Wednesday night with your league. And that car, and most importantly, that track of North Wilkesboro, that became a reality here on iRacing because of Dale Jr. So, there's drivers on here, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, these guys, they race on here. And I have the luxury of being part of the eNASCAR team, and when that Pro Series, when the Pro guys came over here, and we were doing the iRacing invitational stuff, you had all of those NASCAR drivers here on iRacing, and I know a lot of them use it to practice when they can't go to the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dale Jr., you mentioned him. He's on iRacing now quite frequently. If you get up to a high class and you're able to race the Cup cars, you've got a pretty good chance of being on track with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's no longer able to race NASCAR Cup cars. He retired and has push-concussion syndrome. Can't really get out there in the car anymore. He's on quite often, has his own race team and everything. So these guys take iRacing extremely, extremely seriously.
Yeah, they really do. And, talking about extremely serious, everyone's a lap down, but look at this battle right now here. Littleton, Baker, and Osmond. That is a huge battle going on right now with the 43 just behind them. Of course, 43 not really in this battle. Brian Snare, he's currently back in 11th place. But the battle between those two right there, and it was a battle with Littleton as well, heated up there really red hot for a while, and it's kind of simmered down here at the moment. But definitely some good battles here in between, some spread out racing as well.
And these guys, a lot of people be questioning, their lap down. Why are they battling so hard? Because they take this to heart. And yes, Allman might be out there in his own race all by himself, a lap ahead of everybody in the field. But, these guys are still racing for position here. They still want those points. Just because they're lap down doesn't mean they're going to get any less points in the championship. So these guys really want to put on the best race they possibly can and get the best position that they possibly can in their own race back here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're checking in on social media, too, by the way, as we're watching this battle here between the 55 and the 88. We're checking in with Chad. We got Michael Snare out there. I'm not sure the relation to Brian Snare, but says he gets on here because his mom and dad won't let him race in real life. So, I'm glad to have him on iRacing, but we're going to have a chit-chat with mom and dad and tell them to get this guy in a race car, Start him out and go. Go-karts, they're fun.
Yeah, I actually looked earlier. I'm going to see if I can look back to where it was said, the Snare that is in chat on YouTube, I seen him say something about Dad is falling back on purpose. So I believe the Snare that's in the YouTube chat right now is Brian Snare's son.
All right, well, we're gonna help you out, Michael Snare and Chad. If we get a chance to talk to Daddy Snare, we're gonna have to talk to him, tell him to get you in a go-kart. We'll see what we can do to help you out there. They're for sale all over the place. I know I used to be big into the go-kart scene. I do filming a little bit here and there, but there are some expensive stuff, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 go-karts. But there are some cheap ones as well. Get you out to a local go-kart track. I know a lot of drivers that have raced big modifieds, limited mods, whatever, sprints, that have actually sold all that and went to go-karts and run like open outlaw karts just because they're that much more fun for the power to wait.
That's right, and we do have confirmation. It is Brian is my dad, Mitchell said.
There you go. Well, we'll be talking to him about getting you in a go-kart when we can. But Allman's still out front right now. He is the only car lead lap, and he is lapping another car, the number 6 of Eric Blanc. That is your 8th place driver. So at this point, Allman, he again just checked out, and I want to talk about, you mentioned it earlier, this track is bumpy. It's not a smooth track at all. However, we are caution free with coming up right now. We have 12 laps to go.
Yeah, I expect to see a lot of yellow flags out here tonight with the rough track, tires getting burned off, and then 2 different surfaces. They go from the concrete to asphalt and asphalt to concrete going in and out of the pits, but it really doesn't seem to have created any issues for these drivers, and I am blown away by that and extremely proud to see these drivers running as good as they are.
Yeah, it goes to show just how good they are. We have official races that, have loaded there. I mean, you couldn't get any more cautions. Then you come here to league racing, and, I'm not knocking the official stuff. Official racing on here is amazing. That's the way you get going and get your license here, which we won't go too deep into, but this is right here, league racing. This is, in my opinion anyway, the heart and soul of iRacing. You get in here, you get your A class, and then you're like, now what do I do? It's like getting your bread, your cake, and eating it too. Well, now what do you do? Well, now you go bake another cake. And in this case, that's coming to league racing. And I know, and hopefully some of the fans out there know, league racing is a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I look at league racing, personally, I think league racing is the place that you go when you want to run cleaner racing too, because when you got official races, there's nobody sitting there watching over that race or anything like that. When you come to a league race, you have somebody specifically, most of the time there's somebody specifically sitting in the admin room watching the race and watching for drivers out there to race clean and everything like that. So you have a far more heavily policed race, and you're able to enjoy it a lot more when it's policed. You can keep track of drivers that are out there and take care of situations out there on the track rather than just leaving it up to iRacing coding.
Hey, and look at this battle going on here. This is Del Osmond and Steve Baker. They are right there, bumper to bumpers. We're on the roof cam of that sun drop, number 88 of Del Osmond. He's trying to run down the 55 of Steve Baker, just not quite working out, as we have less than 10 laps to go. We have 7 laps to go. Going to be 7. Going to be 6 when we get to the line, as apparently I'm trying to add laps instead of taking them away.
It looks like you're trying to add laps. We're actually 6 laps to go right now, so once the lead across the line, we will be 5 laps to go. And just absolutely fantastic green flag race today.
Yeah, and you talked about 150 laps there. It is now going to be 5 laps to go. We've been on air less than an hour and 20 minutes, and here we are getting ready to gear up for the Clan Wars server post-race show. It's still absolutely amazing as to how quickly this race can go when it is good, clean racing. And I say good because even though they've spread out a little bit, you still got little pockets of racing that are popping up here and there. And that 55 and the 88 was a good example of that. Brian Littleton was getting in that mix a little bit. We even saw good battles going on between the leader at Littleton and Baker. Even though it wasn't for position, it was to fight to stay on the lead lap. Unfortunately, Allman was obviously able to lap him, but even lap cars to stay on the lead lap was putting on a good battle with the leader.
Yeah, they were. Put on a great show, great race, and it's just mind-blowing to sit here and watch a green flag race roll out and a leader lap everybody on the track. It's almost unheard of in a NASCAR race.
Yeah, it definitely is unheard of. Excuse me. What, of course, is about to happen is we're about to take the white flag. He's on the backstretch right now. That is the number 67 of Colin Allman. He is 7 spots to the good. He's not our biggest gain of the race. Not even second most gained. It's going to be Quattlebaum with 10 spots. And then it's going to be Brian Littleton with 9. So he's actually tied for 7 spots gained. So the third most laps gained in this race. And he scrapes the wall coming down the backstretch. Not that it would do too much anyway. You really will, as he's coming to take the checker flag, I want to talk to him about how worn out those tires are.
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming to the checker flag. He just wobbled hard down that front straightaway, so you know that his tires are burnt as he just took the checker flag.
He did indeed. And there you have it there. Second crossing the line. Third, fourth, and fifth will be coming in here for the little checkered flag. Of course, indicating they have crossed the line. And there's the Quattlebaum. Hancock's going to be the last two. Everyone on track has officially crossed the line. We'll let him do some burnouts here in just a moment. But what a great race here tonight. And looks like some celebratory bumps there from the 19 to the 67. As that's hey, you did a good job, even though you lapped me.
Yeah, just some nice little congratulations bumps. Sometimes you even see that in real world racing, just coming up and giving a little, what they call love taps, saying, hey, great job tonight, fantastic race. And it really was. You never see somebody just outclassing the field like that ever, no matter where you go, and it's awesome to see.
And there you have it right there. Rockwell in victory lane. We'll see how long he parks it there. And before we jump over, of course, to the Clan Wars server post-race show, we'll go through your, unofficial race results, barring any post-race stuff that goes on here for the AMA Next Gen Challenge Series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing. And your top 10 finishing here tonight look like this. Colin Allman, again, just dominating this race, followed by Brian Littleton, Steve Baker, Del Osbon, Brandon Medford, Brian Miskell Jr., Troy Radford, Eric Blunt, Cade Green, and gaining the most spots, 10 spots gained to 10th place. Here is Tom Quattlebaum Jr. Will you bring us home from 11th through 20th?
Absolutely. In the final rundown, it's going to be Brian Snare, Damon Cox, Doug Wasaki, Ray Radford, Dustin Ping, Travis Smith, Brian Britt, Roy Hyde, Chris Mefford, Chris Canfield, rounding out your 20-car field.
And, of course, that Tyler Hilton in race control, not starting the race here tonight. That will do it for the rundown here. As we're going to get ready for the post-race show, we'll get these drivers all down in victory lane. And, of course, on pit road, we'll be talking to two of them. And we will be right back here with your Clan Wars server post-race show here in just a few moments. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your Clan Wars server post-race show. Clan Wars server is the official communication partner of LSR TV. What a race it was. You see your victory, or winner right there, victory car, victory driver, whatever. He's in victory lane, literally. We'll be talking to him here in just a minute, but coming in third place here tonight, the driver of that number 55 machine, that is Steve Baker. Steve, you come in third here tonight. Again, we'll say a little short of the win here. What do you think you needed other than maybe a caution or two to keep up with that 67 who was on rails here tonight?
I'm not sure what we're missing out there with that, but yeah, third, good finish for us. Battled Brian and Dale there for a while, and I think Dale probably had a little bit quicker car, but just were able to work through traffic really well and not have any mistakes on pit road, and thrilled with a third place finish tonight.
Yeah, definitely a good finish. Obviously, the whole flow of the lap down, but between you, Littleton, Osmond, y'all put on a heck of a show for the fans out there, putting on some good racing for second, third, fourth in the positions. Just overall, a really good race for you, even though, again, the lap down, you still get a solid third place finish and a podium. It was a rough track here. This track's not exactly smooth as it is. So compared to some of the other tracks, is this one of your favorite tracks, least favorite tracks? How does it stack up?
I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but just I come out here and try and drive it pretty careful. Most races I come out and usually end up with a pretty decent result, but yeah, it's a hell of a rough track. I just tried to take care of the tires as long as possible, and having the race go, I think it was caution free. I don't think we had any yellows, so that was pretty fun for how difficult of a track it is and can be. So shout out to everybody out there for just a clean race, and yeah, it was a lot of fun with Brian and Dale. A lot of respect out there, and yeah, just glad to bring home a clean car.
Well, you definitely did that. A caution-free race here at Rockingham for 150 laps. Who makes that car fast on the side? You give me a chance to shout out to the sponsors.
Yeah, shout out Smoke Show Racing. I'm the only guy out here for my team, but working with Falcon Motorsports and the rest of those guys with setup help. So shout out to them. Tom Quattlebaum does a lot of testing and whatnot. So thanks to them for just having some support on the race day. SRTV Network and you guys for the broadcast, Tyler, Mike for all they do to put on the show, and everybody who comes to race.
All right, well, again, congrats on third place. And I believe Will has caught up with Brian Littleton, driving the number 80 down on pit road.
Yes, sir. I have caught up with Brian. Brian, our second place finisher. Man, Brian, how much were you praying for a yellow flag out there to get caught up to Colin Allman before you went a lap down?
Yeah, about as much as you possibly could, to be honest with you. I don't know how the whole field missed that much, but apparently we got to go back to the shop and figure something out.
Colin just absolutely on the rails out here tonight, but so were you. The biggest mover, or second biggest mover of the race, up 9 spots to the good to second place. And I gotta be honest, you were actually my pick for the race. And honestly, as far as the actual race itself goes, excluding the guy that was just gone from the field, you pretty much won the actual race that was going on back here with the rest of the field. What's your takeaway from this race and your takeaway from Rockingham itself?
Well, I mean, honestly, coming into here, I wasn't real confident with what we had. We hadn't had a lot of time to work on a set, so what gains we made was in the hour practice before the race. I made a small change to the car throughout the race. That was about it. Real tough to get around somebody. You can catch somebody, but getting around them is another story. Steve and Dale and a lot of the other guys that we were racing against, hats off to those guys for a little bit of give and take and being patient with everybody. A lot of good hard racing. I don't know. It's kind of one of them mediocre tracks for me. Like Steve said, as long as you can save your stuff and take care of your car, a lot of times you get a good finish out of the deal. And obviously we did that tonight, so we can be pretty proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a solid second place finish, and running your way through the field to get there. Who do you have to thank for getting you up there? Who's sponsoring you and putting that car up there to the podium tonight?
Well, if I didn't mention my wife and my kid, I'd probably get shot. So we're gonna thank them for sure for allowing me to do this when I do it, and putting up with me as much as they do when I'm on this thing. Definitely Dirty Air Racing and Next Gen Racing for putting this set together. We all work together pretty well, so hats off to those guys. Yeah, good win, Colin. Great racing, Steve, and Dale, and everybody else. It's a good race for what it was, caution free. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man, and congratulations again, Cody. I believe you caught up with our winner, Colin Almana.
Well, no, nobody's caught up with him yet. I'm still trying to run him down, but I believe we managed to catch up with him in victory lane. That's about the only time he slowed down tonight, was to go sit in the middle of the checkers. And Colin, get the win here tonight. What can only be described as dominating fashion, lapping the entire field, not once, but he did it twice, actually, as they get their laps back when he pitted, and then he did it again. Do you have any secrets under that hood you want to tell us?
I kind of just threw something together, to be honest with you. I had no idea what I had coming into the night. I mean, me and the Front Stretch Mafia guys, me, Kate, and Chris kind of just worked on something, and I was on for about 30 to 45 minutes and had to go load up my car so I can go get ready for real racing this weekend. So, yeah, we were really happy with it. Unfortunately, Chris had pedal issues, and Kate was stuck back in traffic for most of the race. But all in all, it's a good night for us.
They say sometimes simple is best. If you overthink it, sometimes, you'll overthink it to death, and then it just won't be there. Obviously, you thought about it just the right amount of time. So 30 minutes, there you go, folks. 30 minutes is the time to put into your setups. That may not be 100% accurate, but anyway. Hey, you did it here tonight. We would have a lot to talk to you about, except it was just pure domination. You weren't around a whole lot of people the whole time. The one question we have before we let you thank your sponsors is coming to those last 5 laps, especially the last lap. We saw you kind of tap the outside wall a little bit. How worn out were those tires, and how hard was that car to handle those last 5 laps?
Well, around lap 35, this thing started to get real squirrely, and I'd have to be extra careful, and carrot kind of went out the window about 5 to go. I just really wanted to drive it hard and see what it had and see where I can improve, what we can improve on our set for the next race. And I think we have an idea of what we need to do for the next one whenever we come back here, and we have some stuff that we learned tonight that we can apply other places. So, yeah, we're overall happy with our night.
Well, definitely a good night for you. Anyone on the car you need to thank, as we see some sponsors on the hood and the side of that car?
I thank guys at Front Stretch Mafia and Buddy K. Green for painting this beautiful car for me, and glad we were able to park it in victory lane tonight.
You parked it for sure in victory lane. Before we get out of here, Will, any final thoughts before we call it a night, and we'll be done here till Sunday night?
What a performance out of Colin Allman here tonight at Rockingham. Awesome looking track. I can't wait to actually test it out myself. It's my first look at it. Put on an amazing race. I can't wait to come back next week and see it again.
Definitely, we will be at this track many times this season or in 2020. I am sure of that, just depending on the actual series we are with. And of course, real quickly before we sign off here tonight, we want to throw out a shout out to Race on Texas, our real life affiliate out there. If you are in the state of Texas, or you just like some Texas racing, because we're the best racing ever, you can check them out, raceontexas.com. Make sure you do. Heart of Texas going to be racing live this weekend, as well as Texarkana 67 Speedway for the first time. We'll be live there on Friday, and then Saturday, Dirt on the Rev, and of course Cotton Bowl Speedway on Saturday night as well. Make sure you check all of them out. And of course, on behalf of myself, Will, and Tyler, and everyone else here for the AMA Next Gen Challenge Series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing. Make sure, I think that's right. Either way, make sure you check them out, and we will see y'all next Thursday night.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.